WV Uncommonplace. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommonplace digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to Uncommonplace.
A little cinnamon mints.
Yeah, everything's good. Howdy, everybody. I'm JR, host of West Virginia Uncommonplace. Today's guest on this show comes from a storied history of podcasting. He started out on a great show called Frocast, and from Frocast, he went on to be part of the new mastermind show called Podding Saved My Marriage. Today, I want to welcome King Jerm to the episode.
What's going on, JR? What's going on, everybody over here at Sparrow's on the Review, West Virginia Uncommonplace, the whole umbrella. I'm King Jerm, one half of Podding Saved Our Marriage, not my marriage, as JR just said. Get the name right, JR. We just, me and my wife, we do a little podcast every Friday, drop on all DSPs. Yes, he is correct. We used to do a podcast called The Frocast. We kind of rebranded, changed things around. And so we just dropping our 43rd episode. But do you know, when we get episode 55, that would be our 300th episode. Me and her.
Oh, snap. Oh, yes. Shit.
Yeah, because we had 245 as a Frocast, and we right now at 43 as Podding Saved Our Marriage. So if you do the math, that's about 288. You know what I'm saying? So we 12 episodes away from our 300th episode together as a podcaster. Well, we probably already done it because she did episodes before she was a full-time. So, but yeah, 300 straight.
Congratulations to her. Now, what's it like now that you have kind of switched roles around? You used to be just an on-air talent, correct?
Correct, yes.
And now you handle the social media, the marketing, every part of it. You're the production. Like basically Queen Jerm comes in, she gets on the mic, she lays it down, and then it's done.
Yeah, well, it was a needed changeover, I think, because one, I have a lot of ideas, and you don't really want to put a lot of work on one person to flesh out all your ideas. And now I'm at a place now where I can flesh out my own ideas. I do my own editing, stuff like that. I mean, one, I would say I was scared to edit because, I felt like it was too technical. But once you start doing it and continue doing it, you realize like, okay, it's not that bad. So if all you podcasters out there, you don't edit your own shit, I mean, some people got their reasons. I know some podcasters that pay people monthly to edit their show because they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's some that have to do it, but I think that you should edit your show. Not too much editing, but if you're doing intros and outros and putting in little stuff, you're already doing the editing. So go ahead, take out them and all them other noises while you're doing it.
And yeah, I could see doing a little bit of distraction editing. Myself, I don't. I got this little furry thing on here, so I don't make those mouth noises anymore. Because some podcasters sent a scathing review. They said, we don't like your show because you do mouth noises. And I just was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you do ASMR videos when you be podcasting.
Now, let me ask you this. Being part of a duo is a hard thing. See, me personally, I'm not part of a duo. When I do Sparrows in a Review with Stacey basically runs the show, and I come in and just do ad-libs and stuff. Like my former mentor, that I will not speak his name because he's not my mentor anymore. Did he? But anyway, go ahead. Tell us how that works out as a duo.
Well, as far as a duo, I mean, it just, you have to know your partner as far as your podcasting partner. Sometimes for conversation purposes, you're going to have to take the other side, even if you don't believe it. Y'all got to know not to over talk each other, let the other person talk. And, just the art of dialogue is what you need to have with your co-host. It doesn't work when you just try to stick two people together that don't really have that rapport with each other. It comes through on the microphone. So sometimes you hear the best podcasts when you have people that are real life friends and they're doing the show, or they have some history with each other. Just because I met you online and we clicked in a couple of comments, or, we say some funny shits in DMs, don't mean we need to do a show together. You know what I'm saying? Just like It don't work like that all the time.
Correct. And with the format that you all do, you all don't need guests except for one powerful man by the name of 12 Cal. 12 Cal had to be a part of your podcast because
He's strong. No. Let's keep it real. 12 Cal strong armed that spot on the show. He basically told me on episode 11, like, hey, I'm going to be on episode 12. And once a powerful man like that speak, I mean, what can you do? Like, it was just like, Jay-Z coming saying, I'm going to be on your album and you on Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you're on the label. So I couldn't do nothing about that.
Yeah, that is true because our man 12 Cal Pauls, he has drones and he has everything watching everybody. And he has people in places, high places, specifically one man named Eclectic. And I'm not going to give him too much shine because me and Dola might have issues with that. But
y'all leave my man E alone, man. E is a good dude, bro. If this was wrestling, he'd be a heel.
Right.
If this was wrestling, he'd be a heel. And he does a great job being a heel. So y'all leave my dog E alone, man.
So what is it like now with the new show that y'all do? You've added new segments in. And one cool thing about you, because you're this type of person that, man, I don't want the old show to be even reminisced on in the new show. You got rid of a lot of the old stuff from Procast. You got rid of a lot of it. Mainly my TV portion that I liked. And
well, the TV portion got killed because of the writer's strike. Once the writer's strike happened, the shows started drying up, and then it was just like, it was kind of a chore. We was struggling for things to watch. We might bring it back once the TV stuff get back to rolling again, but I'm trying to keep the show. I don't want the show to be too long. You know what I'm saying? I just, hour 10 minutes is, I don't want to go over 75 minutes, because it's overkill.
True, and going along with that editing process, it can make your editing process way longer. Now, one thing I need you to do real quick, and this is for the podcasters that listen to the show, can you give us a little insight or some tips on how you edit and how your editing process works for you every week?
Well, I mean, to give away the sauce is really not a sauce. Our show is so formatted that it's almost a routine. Like we have the segments. We know what we're going to talk about in the first segment. We're going to start off with what would you do? Basically it's an icebreaker to get us talking, you know what I'm saying? Then the next segment, we what's on the timeline. We talk about, that whatever's the hot topic that week, that's what we talk about. Then we break it down to, we might have 2 to 3 individual stories. I scour the web, find some stories to talk about. Usually we try to get one, relationship minded question because we are a married couple that does a show. So we try to bring something where we can have, I ain't gonna say a gender war, but see both sides of the argument. Then we break it off into our top 10, which is what, we do every week. And then we have, Bad Black Cinema comes up after that.
Yeah.
Then we have I think HBCU Confessional. Then when I went so our show is so formatted, it's just like every week I just got to plug in the stuff for it, so it makes it easy, when we're doing the show. Now, if you got one of these free flowing shows where people just sitting there talking, it's gonna be hard for you to really edit that because you're gonna have to take out a lot because you might have a point of the conversation where somebody was just talking for 3 or 4 minutes about nothing. And they just got so strayed away from the point so much. So you have to pull some of that out. But as far as editing goes, like I said, with me, it's easy because it's so formatted. I know where I messed up. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm editing, I know, okay, this is the part where I fucked up at. So let me go ahead and take that part out, and everything like that. So it's just something to edit. Then you don't want to do too much when you're editing. You don't want to add so much that you overproduce a show. And so, you want to keep it simple, but not that simple.
Right. And like I used to do distraction editing for like 4 episodes out of these 500 plus that we're about to have. And then that would take like 4 hours for an hour long show. So now I tell the audience this and I tell my guests when they come on the show, not with this episode, but with the other type of stuff that we do on Thursdays that we won't talk about. I tell them those shows from now on are only 22 minutes. Because if I got to edit it or do something to it, like you said, since I don't have no format, because I'm just one of these wild podcasters out here in these podcasting streets, as someone we know used to say, that's what I do there. Now, let's move over to the bread and meat and the butter and everything else that goes on inside the show. Tell me what it's like when y'all get in there on that. You used to record on Tuesday nights. You record on any night now, but when you used to record
mostly still on Tuesday nights. Mostly, unless something's going on Tuesday, we have to push it back to a Wednesday. I really, Wednesday, when I record on a Wednesday, like I said, it's just shortening my time of editing. So I really like to get it done on Tuesday night so I can spend all day Wednesday and have my Thursday nights where I'm not doing anything. But I have done one where we recorded and I went straight to editing and it went straight up. We recorded on Thursday. I edited Thursday night and posted early Friday morning. So I don't want to do that again because that is a lot of fucking work.
And I thank you for telling the audience this because, and the other podcasters, because the thing is that people don't realize that doing a show like you do, it takes a lot of hard work. People don't. That's what really pisses me off when people just slam people's shows. But like your show, nobody slams it. You know, you got that crack for the streets. Me, on the other hand, sometimes I just slap that shit together and put it out there, just depending on what it is. And moving on to this next topic, because we talk about the state of podcasting anytime we have you on. And anybody that hasn't checked out the show, definitely check out the show every Friday. Can you do a shameless plug real quick for us? That's the nostalgic thing on West Virginia Uncommonplace. Can you hit us with one of those?
Yes, man. Check out Pod and Saved Our Marriage every Friday on all DSPs. Me, Queen Jerm, we entertain and explain to the world how Pod and saved our marriage.
And one thing I got to throw in here as a side note, one cool thing about King and Queen Jerm, if they end up taking a break from their show once in a blue moon, it don't happen very often. Only happens when Queen Jerm commissions a cruise or something like that. King Jerm then lets you know they don't take breaks off. We have 52 weeks in a year, and how many weeks do y'all really take off?
No more than 2 a year.
So that's true dedication there. So I do want to give you your chops for that and pause on the flowers, but give Queen Jerm her flowers. And so let's get into this, man. This is a major topic that I wanted to have you on about because me and you talk behind the scenes sometimes, not on a regular basis anymore, but we used to when you were part of the team. You joined Team Stacy, so you do what you do in these streets. But video podcasting, what has it done to our industry?
It's really taken away from the content because people focus now on the production side of the show more than they focus on the actual content of the show. So yes, you got your little grass background, your neon lights and your setup and your couches and all this is great. You got your new cameras and everything, but you're still talking about bullshit. And that's what I mean. That's just what it boils down to. Like it just boils down to your production looks great. All these clips, you're clipping it up, and you're showing all these ads every week on fucking Instagram, and you promote. But then I listen to your show, and it's a fucking letdown. And it's just like that's just how I feel about it. So get back to the content. The content is what sells. You cannot have any cameras, no kind of setup at all, and bang out a great show. But if you care more about the production than the actual content, then that's your numbers and the people going to reflect that. The reception will reflect that. So get back to the content.
And I agree with that because it seems like the aesthetics are what everybody worried about. Because these dudes, and mind you, I'm a podcast consultant, so people talk to me about buying $5,000 and $10,000 cameras, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I will admit, I use an iPad now for the video and different things we do, but that thing shoots 4K, and I only paid $300-400 for it. And it's multitasking. I can use it for more things than just that. Hell, I even edit a podcast on that thing. Talk to Rodis about that later, people. But anyway, my take on it, what bothers me is that, like you said, the content right there, yes. But my thing is, people get so like they take a whole room at their house, they take their guest room and turn it to this place that nobody really visits. And then people that go rent out these studios, knowing that they burning up their budget, that they, like you said, that they could do better promotion or do better things for their show. Nah. And one thing I do want to give you your props on is you got me to stop doing one thing. I used to get out here and promote these shows like extra heavy. Like I used to pump, like if I had an episode, like you used to see, what was that shit I used to do before we hooked up with Chili's? And I do have an announcement on the next podcast I do about Chili's.
The Tuesdays.
Yeah, Applebee's Tuesday, God rest that soul in that promotion. We used to pump that thing out hard. You would see it every Tuesday, 365 days a year, or whatever, however many Tuesdays are in a year. Yeah. And I got to the point where I'm like, fuck that. If you like the show, you like it. If you don't, whatever. So another
have you ever seen a commercial for a Lamborghini?
No, nor have I seen one for Chinese food, King Jerm. Goddamn.
Yeah, except for Panda Express now, they got commercials, but still.
Yeah, but don't nobody eat that hot mess.
I mean, that orange chicken do be fired. I can't.
Hey, no, that teriyaki be on point too. The teriyaki beef.
Nah. Oh, talking about the Beijing beef?
Yeah, Beijing beef. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Pause.
Paul. Yeah, definitely Paul. And then that's another thing inside of our culture and inside of the world. The word pause has become a word that saves you from a lot of ridicule. Wouldn't
Well,
you say?
it's more comedic relief, I think, because it's just, nobody thinks, nobody's homophobic or anything like that comes, all the little tropes that come with it. We just do it because it's funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you sit there and say something, it's just, and then it's like the realization once somebody call pause and you be like, what I say? And then you say it back to yourself, you just bust out laughing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny. Like I don't people like, oh, y'all immature, or I don't do that stuff. Well, okay, fine. Don't fucking do it. We're gonna continue to be fucking childish and we're gonna get these fucking laughs off. If you too old or too cool to laugh, get the fuck away from me, man.
Right. And me too. I like that stuff. And then sometimes like I will have to say that you have an amazing group over there that people need to know about called the Toxic Bible Study that comes on Sundays, the first Sunday of the month. And then you have a recurring group on Instagram that you all do these lives, and ever so often, about once a quarter, every quarter, I come and pop in there and rage, depending on if I'm normal or if I'm enabled by these items I call gigahertz, which they are some type of THC gummies. And you all have straight amazing conversations, and then I get in there and fuck them up.
Well, I mean, that's what the lives are set up that way. We come there with no, we just sit there just talking and bullshitting, as Dolomite calls them, sparring sessions, where we just sitting there. We're all content creators, so we all know how to talk. So talking is nothing to us, and then it might morph into, we might be having a sports debate or whatever kind of debate, and it might morph into jokes, and then it might morph into some drama. You never fucking know. You just got to be around when the shit fucking pop off.
I mean, but every time I show up there, that shit turned into guerrilla warfare. I mean,
well, JR, you gotta understand, you are somebody that comes around and you bring the bullshit. You have a feud going on that side of the Instagram street. So, let's not act like you're just, you're not part of it either. You're part of the bullshit. So don't get there and act like you ain't part of it too. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I am. They call me the Bobby the Brain Heenan.
The Weasel.
They added the Weasel to it, but I am Bobby the Brain Heenan.
And Bobby the Brain was the Weasel.
Yes. I actually still got one of the toys here. God rest his soul. I picked it up like last year or whatever time it was. Now, going into some further details, we did an episode not too long ago. It was probably some months ago that with a bunch of other podcasters, we did the wrestling thing. And I know you don't watch
Jay from the Mind Triggers.
Yeah, Jay shout out to him. Who else was on there with us? It was just him?
It was just me, you, and Jay. And then you did the WrestleFest was when you had everybody recorded theirs and sent them in.
Yeah. So I definitely got to get back to that. But I do need to ask you this. And I know that you like a certain mid-card wrestler. And then you also like a true wrestler. You like Rick Rude, but you like a true wrestler in Sting. And I noticed
what you mean a true wrestler in Sting, and which one was the mid card? Were you calling Rick Rude a mid card?
By my WWE or WWF scale, he is a mid card wrestler. Just because you won a WCW, just because you won that WCW heavyweight title or whatever it was called, you got your neck broke by Sting. Sting didn't play games with you.
Oh man, keep going. Where are we going with this one?
I'm just saying, Sting ruined the career of your favorite wrestler, and then you like Sting on top of that. So I always wondered how that worked out in your mind.
I mean, I respect Rick Rude for what he did for the game, and Rick Rude was a real one. Now let's don't forget. Now he didn't make it in the industry because he had he took up for Bret Hart, wasn't it? Is that the reason why he didn't like the way they did him? He dipped, right?
Right.
He stood up for the industry. Like he stood up against big industry. So he was like a MAGA nigga way back then. So let's don't do that, man.
And I do like his little time in ECW. If a lot of people didn't get to see that, go check out Rick Rude in ECW. You can find that stuff on YouTube. I don't even think WWE releases that stuff. And I will give this to Rick Rude. Rick Rude is one of the only people that can say that he's been in all of the prominent factions in wrestling. He was in DX. He was in NWO. Heck, he was on Raw and
Nitro in the same night.
Yeah, in the same night. So I'll give him that.
Nobody has ever done that before.
Well, one of the person did do it.
Who?
Or no, he didn't. He was on the pay-per-view for WWE, and he lost the belt to China, and then he came on Nitro the next night later, and he busted the guitar.
Next night. We talking about the same night.
Yeah, all right. So Jeff Jarrett did do that, but Jeff
Matter of
Jarrett.
fact, I think it was at the same time because they knew it was recorded, so they played it at the same time.
Yeah.
So he was on both channels at the same time.
Yeah, so he does good. So definitely Rick Rude. But one thing I want to say is your guy Sting. He retired in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh man.
Had an amazing match, and a lot of times when people go over like that, he actually didn't want to win his match. He actually wanted to lose to the tag team that he was facing, but instead, he won his match at request of the promoter that he's working for right now. But they gave him better chops than what happened to him in the WWE because WWE just gave him 2 losses in the same packet. So
they didn't owe anything to Sting in the WWE,
right?
Yeah,
he made money against them, so I can feel them doing what they did. But either way, so wrestling's wrestling. Let's get on to some more stuff about this podcast. Podden saved your marriage.
Our marriage.
Sir. But Podden did save your marriage, correct?
Don't you call Coca-Cola Coca-Cola? Don't you call Pepsi Pepsi? Don't you call West Virginia Uncommonplace West Virginia Uncommonplace? I don't live in West Virginia. I don't oh no. You're gonna say Podden saved our marriage because that's the name of my show, sir.
All right, listen, King Jerm, it's Podden saved our marriage, but when I'm talking to you, it's Podden saved your marriage.
No, you can say how Podden saved you, but when you're talking about my show, that's the name of my show. Okay. But keep going, JR.
All right, so the thing here is that you and Queen Jerm, y'all talk about your issues sometimes on there, and you talk about things that go on. And has there ever been a time, and this is just some stuff, pause that's spicy for the show real quick, has there ever been a time that y'all had to just stop recording and just look at each other and say, we're gonna reset this?
Yes, plenty of times. We've got upset or the energy don't be right, and I just stopped the recording and be like, yo, we'll try this again, or we'll do it another day or come back later to do it. But yeah, because it's like I don't want but most of the time, even though if we're beefing with each other, we can put that shit aside and do a show. Like we could be angry with each other, do a show, laugh it up, and then as soon as the mics go off, it's back to our corners. We're quiet and shit. So don't think every show that we're all laughy Jerry. Oh no. It's been some behind the scenes drama going through, and it might seep into the microphones every once in a while where we get into a topic and you can feel some animosity from one side or some tension. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's real. Like that's one thing I think people appreciate about our show, that we're real. Like we're not gonna sit there and sugarcoat it and act like the fucking Neelys on Food Network. Like, oh, Sugar Bun, how you doing, honey drop? Nah, you ain't gonna get none of that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So if you like seeing real people, listen to our show.
Okay, yeah, no doubt of that. And then the other thing that I like too is that Queen Jerm always points out that you have because you deal with a lot of podcasters. Like you've got routine podcasters that you deal with every single day. How do you divvy up time for work, your normal life, podcasting, podcasters, and then Queen Jerm?
I mean, it's only 24 hours in a day, but somehow I try to squeeze 26 out of my 24. And some days you're not going to satisfy everybody. I have a pecking order to make sure those people that on this high on the pecking order get satisfied. And then, the rest of the time, like when about King Jerm time? Y'all never think about that. Like I still got to have time for myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but I feel fortunate that a lot of people, deal with me, and I'm able to deal with a lot of people in different capacities. And, that just shows that, how I am. I'm not one of the people to try to go along to get along. It's just, I'm generally who I am all the time. And people understand that, and, you either like me or you don't. There ain't no in between. I'm one of them people. You either like me or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, you don't feel like indifferent about me. You either like me or you don't like me. And that's just how I am. But most people like me though, because I'm a very likable person. I'm not a hateable guy.
Now, how do you handle people that don't have boundaries? Because I'm a person, people think that I'm all, just because I do all these little mental health shows, so that I got boundaries. I'm one of the most ruthless and diabolical people. I have no boundaries. How do you handle people like me when they call you?
It depends. If I can talk, I can talk. And then, like I know certain people be on bullshit. So when they call me, I'm not gonna, feed into the bullshit, or, I might sit there, like, you might call me like, yo, King Jerm, this and that. I'm like, JR, man, calm the fuck down, man. It's not, it's just not like that. But then I could be in one of the moves. I'm like, oh, fuck it, JR, go in on that nigga then. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just depends. I've been known to be called, an agitator, you know what I'm saying? Instigator, or I'm always, and so it's like, but I'm a firm believer in, hey, if you got an issue with person B and y'all are both in the same spot, let's talk about it. Let's put the issues out there, because it might just be a miscommunication, or you might have thought something else, and let's put it out there, and then we'll see if y'all can, if there's any resolution to this issue. If it's not, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got to like each other. I'm cool with that. I'm not one of the people who feel like everybody has to be kumbaya. No. It's people like the Cowboys. It's people like the Redskins. It's a reason why they don't get along. You know what I'm saying? So as long as the world exists, where you got Laker fans and Celtic fans and Yankee fans and Red Sox fans and Gator fans and Seminole fans and Carolina fans and Duke fans, it's always going to be opposition. So why not embrace that shit?
Don't forget Eagles.
What, man? We don't talk about the Eagles, man. Like, we just trying to rebuild our team right now, man.
Listen, have you watched this whole NFL scramble today?
No, I don't pay attention to NFL. Obviously, I did see the Eagles picked up some running back from the Giants. So I did see that.
No, but all this trading has been wild. I'll have to talk
to free agency.
Huh?
It's free agency.
Yeah, free agency is going wild. I'm just seeing everybody. I seen Cleveland picked up your boy from Florida State and some other stuff. But football's football. So
yes.
Another thing though, how do you handle this thing? Like, you're an iPhone user like I am. Our iPhones got updated, and you started seeing pictures of people. Beforehand, it used to be just something simple. Like, for instance, with mine, if anybody gets a phone call from me, they don't see me. They see Stacy. And everybody knows I'm diabolical. So I tell everybody I deal with, I'm like, look, you got to be careful, because I know, because we live in the Eastern time. The Eastern time between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock are the busiest time for anyone that lives on the East Coast. Okay. So sometimes you put your phone down. Sometimes people get enough time that they can take a nap. Have you ever had an instance of someone calling you and something showing up on your phone that shouldn't be there?
Yeah. So one time I was taking a nap because, I was tired. I cut the grass that day and everything. I was doing a lot of yard work today. So I was like, about 5, 6 o'clock, I fell asleep. And, Queen Jerm's out here in my garage, watching TV in the garage. I don't know why she was out here. We got other TVs in the house, but hey, maybe it is what it is. And I left my phone out here because, I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want to be bothered. Next thing you know, I get some phone calls. I see it on my watch. I just hit the, the button to, make it stop ringing. And then I go on back to sleep. I wake up, Queen Jerm's in there questioning me about, oh, so you got white women calling you? Excuse me? What are you talking about? Then I remembered, like, oh, JR called me. And she apparently seen my phone when JR called me, and the picture of Stacy is on when he called. So being the proactive guy that I am, I changed JR's profile picture on my phone. So now when he calls me, it's just a big ass W like the woo when he calls me. So
and I will say that is a tactic that I have used on so many people. You're not the worst person to get in trouble. I want to tell this real quick. Podcaster A, I'm not going to name their name. They live in the Midwest, and I'll just leave it at that. Well, they were asleep too. And I hit them up about, it was 10 o'clock our time, so 9 o'clock their time. And I didn't know that, we're at that age where we don't go to sleep at 9. We go to sleep usually, but I don't know when you go to sleep, King Jerm, Paul, because it's none of my business. But between
10:30, 11 o'clock.
That's 10, 11 o'clock is natural, yeah, because I got to get up at 5 or 6 to go somewhere. So this person goes to sleep at 9 o'clock, and I call them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to double back on him. And I did it twice. Well, his wife is just sitting there looking at the phone on silent. So, your phone's on silent, not do not disturb. I'm talking about on silent. And it's just vibrating across the nightstand until it hits the floor. Man, I felt bad for him. I was like, damn, bro, I really didn't mean to get you in trouble like that. But
yeah, because JR, you do that shit, because I'm recording the show, and JR call. Then he'll call again. I got my phone on do not disturb, but JR does that little thing where he'll call twice with a fucking ring, and I'll be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, why? If you have this function on the phone, there shouldn't be a damn a workaround.
Bypass.
Yeah, it should not be. Like, they have a function where you can say, hey, these people can get through if it's on do not disturb. If they're not on that list, they don't need to be able to get through. And that's what I'm just like, yo, stop doing that fucking shit, JR. Mm.
But
Disgusting.
either way, I don't know why I'm laughing at that, but either way, I gotta get off the drugs, people. But going further and further into this, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. Now, we've seen the evolution of podcasts, and we've seen people building servers, and we've seen the rise and fall of Spotify for podcasters. What is the next endeavor for you all as a podcast?
Nothing. I mean, I've evolved as much as I can. I'm not going to the video podcasting. I'm not, I don't think podcasting, like what other level can it go? You know what I'm saying? We've already seen it went from just audio to now it's a visual experience. Now it's a live experience. Like, what else can we do now? Like, that's what I don't understand. I think podcasting has seen the limits of what it can do. Like, I mean, unless you're gonna start doing where they already do podcast tours. So, like, what else can you do in podcasting? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm just like it's more of a hobby to me. I'm a hobbyist podcaster, and I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. I have a regular job. My wife has a regular job. She makes good money. I mean, I made enough to buy the bacon and shit. But it's like I'm not, trying to get a big 6-figure deal. I'm not, would I like to have thousands and thousands of listeners? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not my goal. I don't do it for them. I just do it because, I know a lot of podcasters say it's therapeutic, but it is true, because some days you come in here, you just get to vent and talk, what I'm saying? Whether, people listen to it or not, I got it out. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it. And then, when I get feedback from, podcasters, regular people that listen to the show, that shit makes me like, okay, well, at least somebody listening, that's who I do it for. So, I mean, I don't know where the podcasting goes from here. I think it's seen, I think we're on the downslope of it. Like, we were gonna bottom out again, and we're gonna get rid of a whole bunch of more podcasts because we team quit over here. Shout out to Dolly. Team quit. We don't tell nobody to come back to podcasting. If you want to leave, leave. Get the fuck out. There's the door. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna beg nobody to stay. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if you got some old equipment that you want to get rid of, hit me up. Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot.
Hey, yeah, somebody do hit me up for a fucking. I need a roadcaster. Somebody
all these people that's quitting, I'm pretty sure some roadcasters out there that's just sitting there collecting dust. And they jumped out there. Like, I heard somebody paid $70,000. They just sunk $70,000 into their podcasting equipment. 70,000. 70,000. I said, damn. Have I even spent 1,000? I doubt it.
Right. I mean, like you said, it depends on the avenue you go down. And like you said, being a hobbyist podcaster, you do your thing. And I mean, you got your people, you got your affiliates, you had the Clap Cleats, you got the Amazing Popcorn Company. You got a lot going on there. Now,
don't forget about Mason Jar Money.
Oh yeah, Mason Jar Money.
Don't forget about Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Don't forget about Brooks. Run happy.
Now you cutting promos like I do.
Just saying.
Right. And the Ghost are amazing shoes. I will tell you that. They didn't cause this injury I had. They could have probably saved it if I had started wearing them earlier.
Exactly.
True. And then the other thing is you have an amazing thing going on, because me and Stacey didn't realize it, but you actually became the intro of our show.
Oh man, I noticed that.
Yeah, you are the intro to the show. So people, I got this app called Verbal. They asked about the show. They said, "Who is that on the thing?" And then, one thing that I do have to owe you an apology on, that I got to start doing in the show notes. I'm going to put a link to your show in the show notes, because I don't know if people have gravitated over a lot, but people know you as the intro to our show. So we were like, we can never change that. We're like, King Jerm was supposed to do a new one for us, but he forgot to do that shit. I think we did ask her.
She did, but I told her to send me over the particulars, what she wanted me to say. Stacey never did it, but hey, I'm gonna blame JR for that, because Stacey can do no wrong.
Right. Now, I'll tell you this. This was a funny thing. You gave us a movie, Pause, called Loverboy. Pause. And we did it. We put that show out not too long ago, and people, it got rave reviews. I didn't get to tell you about that. And then it was a movie that we just watched with Oprah in it.
Y'all put Loverboy out?
Yeah, Loverboy's been out.
No, y'all didn't.
Yeah, Loverboy's out on West Virginia Uncommonplace.
Oh, Yeah, I don't follow that one. I only follow Sparrows under review. Sorry.
Damn. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But look, no, look. So we watched this show. I want to tell you a funny story. We watched this movie with Oprah in it. It was like a horror house movie with Oprah in it. What was the name of it?
The Woman of Brewster Place.
Yes. We have to do a review of that. And I'm telling you, that by far is one of my favorite movies from that time period in the 80s of watching stuff. I was like, damn, Oprah could have been a superstar in movies had she stuck to doing that type of role, all the way through. But then she lost the weight, and then she lost her religion.
JR, y'all did not drop that damn Loverboy episode.
It's already out, bro. It's been out.
It's not. I'm looking back at your feed. I don't see it. You forgot. I listen to just about every show, bro. Except for when you do those,
them Thursday shows.
Yeah.
Hold on, I swear to God, it came out, bro. Like
when?
Loverboy, where are you at? Loverboy came out March 2nd.
On WV Uncommonplace page?
Yeah, it came out with the Super Mario RPG episode.
Oh, okay. I see it now. Oh,
yeah.
Dang.
People, out of all that crap, they like that in the video game stuff I do. And then when I do these other random shows, some people listen, and some people are like, damn, oh shit, look, let me tell y'all how fucked up I am in the podcast game. I released some episodes today, right? And I spelled dude's name wrong in the show notes. So nobody's perfect, And let me ask you about this, King Jerm. What do you think about AI and podcasting? Do you think it's taken away from it or not?
I mean, well, it still takes a human. The human has to plug in AI, right? You have to at least give AI an idea, don't you? I mean, that's
yes.
Okay. So the human element is still there. Now, I do understand that there are hundreds of podcasts that are AI driven. What I mean by they're not even real people talking on the microphone. It's the whole little AI thing. So you got to be careful about that. I noticed a lot of YouTube videos use AI voices, and people are using AI just for content now. I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's fine. And use the system to work the system, but it's still not gonna, in the end of the day, people want relatable content, and the AI is not going to give you that. You know what I'm saying? Because AI is not a human. It's not. It doesn't see emotion. The human element is, only human element is the thought, but the whole fleshed out ideas from a robot. And if that's what you're shooting your show with, then it's gonna sound that way. Like you gonna be sitting there listening, like, the fuck is this motherfucker talking about? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? Like that's not real. I mean, technically it is, but it ain't. You like podcasting. To me, it should be something. It should be a feeling. I should either walk away from your show liking you or hating you, but at least you're getting some kind of emotion from me.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I look for. Like, just when y'all say about Eclectic, I said, well, Eclectic's doing his job, because y'all walk away hating Eclectic. So I said, that's fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all walk away loving 12 Cow. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that do shows that you're fucking indifferent. Like, you don't even give a fuck if you listen to it or not. So the fact that you can hate listen to somebody's show or love listen to somebody's show, that's what it's about. And I don't think AI can give you that.
Right. Now, I will say this. I fucked up one time and I experimented with the AI on a few of our Spares in the Review episodes to kind of fix my voice because they were kind of trashy. And I've been dubbed AI. Whenever anybody hears AI JR, they laugh at it because, mine is just synthesized. It's not like I'm actually using it to produce my voice. It's just like bullshit like that. So once I did that a few times, I was like, man, I can't do this shit no more. So I stopped doing the AI JR. Because, like you said, it's just not authentic. And at least with me, it was kind of like I was Roger from Roger and Zap, and I thought it was cool. But other people were like, "Nah, fuck that shit. Get that shit out the way." Now, King Jerm, to wrap this show up real quick.
Okay.
Please tell the audience this amazing thing that you say about podcasting. You have a motto, and this motto, I had to actually start doing that over the last 6 months because doing a podcast became a job for me.
Yeah.
And when it became a job, you could hear it in the episode. You could tell I was just manufacturing some shit just to get it out there.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to that motto. Can you give us the motto real quick?
I don't want to do. Once it become work, I'm gonna stop doing it. I like doing it because it's fun. But once it becomes work, it ain't fun no more. Like nobody goes to work to have fun unless you're in the fucking NBA or NFL or whatever. Nobody's job is fun unless you fucking work at a goddamn sports store. So I don't want to feel like this podcast is turned into a labor. It's a labor of love. Like I enjoy doing it. I don't do it for the numbers. I don't do it for the cloud. I don't do it for the sponsors. Shout out to the sponsors. But I do it because I generally enjoy doing it. So once it becomes work, that's why I don't do a lot of posting the clips. And because then you have so much time consumed in it and you don't see that return because time is an invaluable resource, right? It's like, and so if I spend so much time on this podcast, I'm neglecting the other things in life. And then once I look at it in a month, I'm like, man, I've been working on the podcast for 22 days out of this 30-day month. And these 8 days, I ain't had time for myself. And then that makes people start regretting podcasting. So once it becomes work, stop it.
So true. And I agree with that. So either way, King Jerm, I want to thank you for coming on the show because I don't want to take up too much of your day because we know you're enjoying it today. You're out there in the garage chilling or wherever you are. We don't know exactly what you're doing. The drones.
I'm on the beach. I'm on the beach.
Oh, yeah. I took
my podcasting equipment with me to the beach today.
Shout out to Northwest Florida.
Hey.
But either, huh?
I said I am in Panama.
Okay. Yeah. So on that note, King Jerm, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And everybody, always on a Friday, make sure you tune in to Pod Saving Our Marriage. And then after Pod Saving Our Marriage is done, go back in and listen to the catalog. Because an amazing thing that happened with this podcast when it was in its inception and through the middle of the run of this show was that they had bonus episodes. Those bonus episodes had a lot of things inside of them that were amazing. The regular show is amazing too, but those bonus episodes captured a different moment, a different time inside of Podding Save My Marriage. So please check out those bonus episodes while you're listening to the rest of the catalog. So on that note, King Jerm, do you have anything else to finish with?
JR, man, somebody just pulled upside my house picking up this fucking dumpster for my neighbors getting their roof done. So they might be making some noise in the background. So, yeah. So.
All right. So we are out of here.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oneCommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening and tune into the next episode.